If you're a heating and air conditioning technician or a salesperson, what are the two most powerful forms of communication and why do they matter? This is an important question. I'm Sylvan Bell, coming to you live for HVAC technicians, sales secrets on a perfect day to talk about sales and a perfect day to talk about you. So here's the thing. People will come to me and say, hey Scott, I really want to make sure that I'm communicating efficiently with the people that I sell to. What do you have for me? And I'm going to break things down. There's two things that you need to know here. So the first is questions. I can ask you a question. You don't necessarily have to answer me, but you do have to think about it if I ask you a question and I stop talking. Right? So if I say, hey, where were you last night? Well, chances are pretty good. You had to think about it. Right? This is where salespeople struggle, is because we want to talk. And this includes me. I make this mistake. Hi, I'm Scott. I make 4 mistakes on average a day. On number 4, I go home and I take a nap. Right? It's the best thing for me. It's a way for me to get past whatever I screwed up on. So we, including me, have to get used to pausing at the end of a question to let somebody answer or think about it themselves. And you're like, hey Scott, how long should I pause? I'm glad you asked. Here's what you do. You take your hand, you put it on your hip, right? And you go 2001, 2002, 2003, 2004, 2005. About 5 seconds. That's it. That's about all you need. 5 seconds. Sometimes 7, right? So like if I'm sitting with a buyer and we're talking and I got my pen and I'm taking notes because that's what you're supposed to do, and I ask a question, I'll start tapping my foot where they can't hear it under the table, or if they can't see it, or I will tap my hip like you can't see my left hand. 2001, 2002, 2003, 2004, 2005, and I'll just sit there and look at them. I'll just like I'm ready to take a note, ready to, hey, what's going on, right? Waiting for your answer. This is why you should join HVACTechSecrets.com. I'll give you the goods, not on the Facebook group, not on the YouTube channel. You got to know this. So the second thing is you got to know, the second most powerful form of communication is stories. So for however long we've been around, the oral tradition of telling a story is this is what happened. Okay? So I could tell you a story. Last week, I drove to San Francisco at 5 o'clock in the morning to go work on a deal. It took me 3 hours to go 90 miles. Because it was raining. There was a backup at the Bay Bridge going into San Francisco, into the financial district. I couldn't find parking. It was a disaster to try to find parking. Finally, I found a spot. It was $25 for the day. I knew I was only going to be there for 2 hours, but this was an impressive deal. I go in, deal doesn't work out, and I leave. I am in San Francisco for a grand total of 55 minutes before I had to drive back to Sacramento. And you're like, Scott, why would you tell me that? And I could say, tell me the story. Tell me what happened. So this is why it's important for you as a technician to tell a story in a linear fashion, right? So like when you sit down and you're about to describe what's going to go on and the problems that system's facing, you're going to make your list. You're going to put it in a logical order. And you're going to say, and then. You're going to explain what's going on, because it's really easy, even if somebody doesn't know what a capacitor is, or a variable speed motor, or a gas valve, like they understand that you're putting things in a logical order. This is what happened. This is what happened. And for the most part, unless you're watching a Quentin Tarantino movie, this is how most stories unfold, right? Like very few people would be able to give like an ADD type story like Quentin Tarantino does and have that person on the other end go, that's freaking amazing. That's fantastic. Questions and stories are the two most powerful forms of communications. Ask really good questions, pause, let people answer, tell really good stories, pause in the moments where you need to, where the tension's at the height, to get people on the edge. But please remember to do the right thing for your buyer. You got one thing to do from here, just one thing. Find the subscribe button, click on it. And every time I send out a video, you'll get an update that says HVAC Technician Sales Secrets, send out another fantastic video. You should check it out, which you should. We'll see you soon.